Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another installment of Topical Depression. I apologize for my little pauses here. I'm trying to get my audio good in my headphones, but it seems to be working a little crazy today, but we're going to make do. Normally, when I do these, I have something very specific in mind that I want to talk about, but there's a number of issues, a number of topics that are floating around in my head. So I think we're going to take them one by one, and we're going to go with the one that I think is, or at least should be, fairly familiar with people because it's fairly recent, and that is Serena Williams. Serena Williams is a professional tennis player who is quickly coming up to her last ever match. She has already said she is going to retire after this next tournament that she's in. Um, Many people say she is the greatest female tennis player of all time. Definitely is, without a doubt, undisputed up there. Um, but I'm not actually bringing her up because I'm trying to debate whether or not, or decide whether or not she is considered one of the greats. I think that's unquestionable. What I am bringing up for is the comments that she made when she was announcing said retirement, and the views that she gave. Um, she made it seem, and this, I'm pretty sure this is not me looking into the subject, but she made it seem as though her retirement was something that if she were a different gender, it would not be coming up. She made a point to say that she made a point to say that she never liked the word retirement, and she want to evolve to something else. And then she also made a point to say that she used that word evolve instead of the word she wants to use, which is transition. But she's not going to use that word because that would be um, um, taking that word from transgender people, and she don't want to misappropriate. Which I don't. I have a tendency to get off topic, so I'm not even gonna let myself devolve into that. We're gonna just stick to the point that I do want to bring up, and that was the point that she made further on. Because if you just stop right there, even with all that extra stuff, I'm okay with that. I have problems with it, but I can let it slide. It's what she says after that, which I don't understand at all. Um, she mentions how her first child, her daughter, wants to be a big sister, so she wants to provide, little siblings for her firstborn. And obviously, to do that, you need to get pregnant and bring that child to term and all that good stuff. And even though she famously was like, what, 3 or 4 months pregnant when she won a tournament with said child that she's talking about, but um, point is that she was saying that she feels the need to step away from tennis to devote her time to that aspect of building a family. Which, I mean, again, if she just stopped right there, there's no problems with that. It's the point that she tries to make, as if um, the fact that she's a woman is the reason why she has to stay back. And to give you an idea, this is the exact words that she says. Believe me, I never wanted to have to choose between tennis and a family. I don't think it's fair. If I were a guy, I wouldn't be writing this because I'd be out there playing and winning while my wife was doing the physical labor of expanding our family. Maybe I'd be more like a Tom Brady if I had that opportunity. Don't get me wrong, I love being a woman, and I loved every second of being pregnant with Olympia. That's her firstborn child. I was one of those annoying women who adored being pregnant and was working until the day I had to report to the hospital. Although things got super complicated on the other side, and I almost did do the impossible. A lot of people don't realize that I was 2 months pregnant when I won the Australian Open in 2017. I realized this, I mentioned this before I threw your comments up on it. So don't worry, Serena. I was paying attention. But I'm turning 41 this month, and something's got to give. So you can you can take what she's saying for what it is, and it just being just her thoughts and views. But I'm looking at the words. I'm hearing what she's saying. I know exactly what she's saying. So I get to that in a second. But first, just taking the words for as they are. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. 1 minute, you wish that you didn't have to do the treacherous, horrible things that's necessary for a mother to 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 bring that child into the world. But at the same time, you loved every minute of it with your firstborn. So all right, so which is it? Which is it? Because I mean, there is the option of surrogacy and adoption. Like you don't have to get pregnant if you want to have more children and expand your family. That now you seem to be dead set on that, which is fine. But don't sit there and make it seem like it's inconvenient when you want it to be inconvenient. And it's not inconvenience. That's just what is in the cards. Two, you make it seem like it's like another part of the patriarchy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Tom Brady, he could just keep on playing football, and Giselle's the one that has to sit at home and do all the well, I mean, first of all, that's a natural part of of things. I mean, like men didn't sit in a room somewhere and decide that women are gonna have children. It's not like we didn't there. That's you can't say things like it's not fair or anything like that because fair has nothing to do with this equation. Like that's just the way things are. And again, and if you don't want to get pregnant and have more children, surrogacy or adoption. You don't have to physically get pregnant to have a child, but you want to be because for whatever reason you loved every second of being pregnant, which is, I mean, I okay. I mean, I've heard women say this. I also heard women say the exact opposite. But generally speaking, it doesn't matter if all you want to do is build your family and continue to play tennis. Like I said, it seems off. It seems like you're blaming nature for something that you don't have to. I mean, but again, if being pregnant is that important to you at 41 years old, yeah, I don't know. I don't know at what was 47. What was that? 2017 was the Australian Open, so you would have been, I don't know what month that was. I think that was the summertime, but either still, that was 5 years ago. So you were 36. That's not a ripe age to be playing professional sports and being pregnant. There's people that don't do anything, you know, physically demanding in any way, shape, or form, and they have all kind of problems when they get pregnant after 35. I have a problem when they get pregnant after 30. And you want to get pregnant after 40. Okay. But again, 1 minute you were superwoman, you had no problem with it. And at the same time, you're saying all that, all while saying it's not fair. Like it's a strange thing. It almost seems like you're looking to get a bit of praise from any and every possible group. Which at this point, and that's kind of why I started, you might be one of the greatest tennis players to have ever played the game. How much more do you need? And if you do need more, keep playing tennis. It's just very strange to me, Serena. But you have all rights to do what you want to do. And I'm pretty sure wherever that statement that you wrote, wherever it was printed at, I'm pretty sure they didn't ask you to do that. If they did, they didn't ask you to do all this mess. But that is where we are. Moving on. Now, there's somebody you probably don't know about. I didn't know anything about her until fairly recently, even though apparently she's been in in these sort of Well, at least with the issue that she's having. She's been involved in this for a while now. Actually, so long, in fact, that J.K. Rowling, this is one of the things that people have been getting angry at her about. Now, I'm not gonna get into J.K. Rowling. One, I don't care about J.K. Rowling. Two, I don't. The little bit that I know that people are angry about it for, it doesn't make me angry, so I don't care. Um, but Rosie Kay came to my attention a couple of days ago, actually. And for those of you who don't know who Rosie Kay is, she is a professional choreographer and dancer. Um, she built a studio, or not a studio, but a dance company from scratch. Um, and she used to be the head of said dance company until last year, when she apparently said some things that a couple of her dancers, um, these dancers were transgender and non-binary dancers. They had problems with that. And to make a long story short, because we got to get into a lot about her, essentially they went to the board. The board decided to investigate if she actually was transphobic. And after talking to her lawyers, Rosie Kay resigned. And I think there is now a legal battle because of her intellectual rights. Irregardless of whether she quits or whatever, there are certain um, artistic sort of choices and things that are associated with her name, with her group, that do not belong to the company. They belong to her and her alone. And so, if said company wants to continue doing the stuff that they have been doing in the past, or just completely cut ties altogether, that's probably what this is going to be about. But long story short, Rosie Kay is an interesting person for a number of reasons. Uh, if you are like me, you probably don't know much about dance in a professional sense. You probably don't watch a lot of stage shows. Her name probably doesn't ring any bells at all. Um, she herself um, has been doing this for a very long time. Dancing since the age of 3. And the little bit that I did see up on her, she apparently does have a very distinctive style. She has come up with a couple of shows that have been, basically tied to her name. Um, Specifically, something called Five Soldiers, which I never did see or look. I just saw little clips of it, but it it does seem like she is a storyteller of some sort, at least with that show. It was all very militaristic, but at the same time, there was definitely dance. It wasn't like you could tell she didn't go get soldiers, but they practice on their march and they practice on their steps. It was very um, to the point and realistic, or I guess as realistic as some dancers could do. But at the same time, she herself says that she is non-binary. Um, she claims to, and even in that, I don't even know exactly how where to go with that. To give you an idea, she says she's non-binary, but at the same time, she says that her femininity, or the fact that she is female, is undeniable, which is just amazing to me. That's amazing to me. Like, 'cause I don't think I've ever heard anybody in that group actually think logically in that way. Is essentially what she's saying is that if you can claim to not be of a particular gender, but that doesn't change the fact that you are whatever you're born. And I've always explained it like this. Um, when we were kids, we always played some form of make believe. Cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, whatever. Um, and the game would always inevitably end because one person either refused to play that part or had something completely out of left field that they refuse to be in. They refuse to insert in. So if we playing Cowboys and Indians, you that dude that show up saying I'm Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond, and you start shooting everybody with lasers. Well, no, we playing Cowboys and Indians, man. You messing it up. Or we playing cops and robbers. All of a sudden, you Harry Potter and you an Expelliarmus and throwing spells at everybody. Now we all stupefied. No, man, you messing up the game. And that's what it seems like her big infraction is at the party that she threw. Give you to if you're not familiar with her and how all this went down. Essentially, she was putting on a production of Romeo and Juliet, and they wanted to, or she wanted to throw a party at her house for all the dancers. And it was a private party, wasn't open to anybody or anything like that. And she says the point was to relax and cheer everybody up. But the dancers, some of those that were non-binary, apparently there was a few non-binary people there. Um, they claim that Kay was acting, or excuse me, she claims that she was in the role of the employer, even though she was throwing this party. She never broke that division of employer and employee. Those that were there, however, was about 4 dancers. They said there was their complaints had to do with her specific um, um, things that she had to say, specifically about this book. Apparently, she was working with a book club, and there were several transgender friends that wanted to make a production based on that incident at that Orlando nightclub some number of years back. And apparently, and this is what you call it, her Rosie Kay's words. Um, Debate turned heated as we talked about the differences between sex and gender, and whether trans women should be admitted to women's spaces, such as refugees for victims of domestic violence. I believe, and this is Rosie talking, I believe in sex based protections and women's sex based rights. Women's rights and freedom of expression are a cornerstone to my artistic expression. And she later went on to talk about how she was raped as a child, actually by a school friend. And she was 16. And she is, I guess, because of that, she is gender nonconforming, or she doesn't feel comfortable conforming to a gender. But and again, these are her words. As a dancer, you live in your body. You are under no illusion about your sex. During periods, you injure more easily. When you ovulate, you're wobbly. So she doesn't want to be classified as a female, and at the same time, she has no problem recognizing the fact that her body is uncontrollably female, and that it will do uncontrollably female things, irregardless of what her state of mind is. Like I said, she's Buzz Lightyear, man. When you're trans or you're non-binary or you're non-gender or whatever you want to classify it, it it is beholden on all of us to play in on the make believe. You have to, for their sake, not for ours, but definitely you have to, because like I said, it's Buzz Lightyear swooping in on Cowboys and Indians. You messing up the game. It's hard to maintain that game if everybody isn't playing along. But she's very logical in that it doesn't matter how you feel or what makes you feel better. There are facts to everything, and those facts are undeniable. The truth is undeniable, and irregardless of what you do to chop it up or chop it down or push it over, it stands all on its own. But again, for those few transgender and non-binary members on her staff, they couldn't see it that way, and so they alleged that she was aggressive and she made people feel uncomfortable. Apparently, at one point, she forced everybody to go on a tour. And again, these are the complaints. These are the accusers now. This is not Rosie's words, but they claim that she showed everybody around her house, forced them to go to a child's bedroom, and a general tour, which I'm not sure why that is so so hurtful. You show somebody your child's room, but at the same time, that's the other weird thing about her. She didn't want to be classified as a female, but she's married to a man, and she has a child through that man, a son. She this is the weirdest non-binary I've ever heard of, but maybe that's why they didn't like her, 'cause she's not playing along. So this is the comments that they said, that she says to them, that these non-binary transgender workers who made the complaints that essentially forced Rosie to leave her own company. This is what they said. She said to them: identifying as non-binary is a cop-out. Allowing trans people to take hormone blockers is creating eunuchs. Trans women are a danger to actual women in toilets and only want access to female toilets to commit sexual assault. Now, these are things that people say all the time about these sort of issues and this idea in our society. Um, Outside of that last one, you can't really argue that it's not accurate. I mean, identifying as non-binary is a cop-out. It's like saying that those differences in gender, those things that separate us, either don't exist or don't matter. They do. And allowing people to take hormone blockers, especially as young as they're trying to get people to take them, you are making eunuchs out of these people. You are forcing them out of the gene pool. When I mutilate your body in that way, you cannot produce children. Not in a natural way. Not unless you have already frozen some of that stuff before doing so. Now, like I said, the last one, I don't think all trans women or trans men or whoever it is going into the other sex's toilets to commit sexual assault. I think that happens. I definitely think that happens. And the more you normalize this mess, the more it will happen, because you're making the potential for it to happen increase exponentially. But do I think every single one? No, of course not. However, again, the mere fact that you are making this thing um, open for all, like that's the idea. That's the push and we're not making a third restroom. We're not making like an additional restroom, like a family restroom or something like that, just for trans. No, you're saying that trans women are the same as women, so they should go in. No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. Because I agree with Rosie. It doesn't matter what you want us to think. It doesn't matter what game that you're playing. It's still make believe. It's still pretend. And even if all society all agrees and we get together and we play this game, it's still pretend. It's not actually real. When you're playing cowboys and Indians, you're not a cowboy, nor are you an Indian. Like it is still make believe. The human brain is not that impressive that you could just will it into existence. That's not the way things work. But that's the way these people want it to work. And it's funny, Rosie Kay denies having said all these crazy things, but she acknowledges that she did say and does believe that there is no such sex as non-binary, which, again, you Buzz Lightyear, woman. You're so crazy. You claim to be non-binary, and at the same time, you're saying that it's just what I want to do. It's how I feel like living. But the reality is that it's not a real thing. It's just something I want. which I think is just amazing. You're the weirdest non-binary I ever seen. But therein lies the problem. So you had to go through legal routes, um, and you are trying to figure out how to get your intellectual property because you have left the company. You don't want to have anything to do with this. However, they're mad at her because she made this stuff public. And see, and therein lies the problem. When you align with these particular groups of people, it's their way or the highway. And the only thing they'll accept from you is blind submission. Anything else is abuse. Anything else is hatred. Anything else is bigotry. Anything else is trying to stop you from being your true self or whatever it is, whatever jargon that they like to throw out there. There is no live and let be. There is no acceptance. You have to live the life your life the way I say. And anybody who doesn't accept that blind submission, anything they can say to discredit you, to belittle you, to do everything that they say you do to them, that's what they do. And irregardless of what you actually think, whether you're a true ally to their cause or not, the moment you say something wrong, the moment you step out of line, this is what you can expect in all ways, shape, or forms. They do it to their own. They do it to you. They do it to anybody because the message is the only thing that matters. In fact, if I can be martyred because of the cause, all the better for it. Then I'll live forever. And I think that's really the true thing. It's that need to stroke that ego any kind of way, any kind of shape or form you possibly can. And Rosa, I hope you get your intellectual property. I hope you get your stuff. But I hope everybody's paying attention. I know generally speaking, people are waking up to the sort of fascist dictatorship that is, the left, generally speaking. This all-inclusive openness. This is not hippie love. This is Nazi Germany. It's just like in Nazi Germany, if you didn't high hail Hitler and goose step with everybody, you was gonna find yourself in a concentration camp. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you get a bullet in your head before you even realize what happened. And just because you align with them people, even if you truly believe in it, it doesn't save you from anything. Now, the last little bit is actually the bit that I'm not sure if I want to get into because, well, I'm not gonna get into the reasons why. I'm just gonna say that if I do speak on it, which I am, I'm mulling it over in my head in real time right now. I am gonna speak on it a little bit, but I think it deserves more than one, bite at the apple because um, one is it's very tied into the America moving forward, what we look like, how we operate, but also it has ties to the world, and that topic is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a protectorate. Do y'all know what a protectorate is? I hope not, because it's dumb. We shouldn't have protectorates in the 21st century. That should not be a thing. Colonialism was at least the way I was taught. Colonialism wasn't a good thing. There's a lot of horrors that came with colonialism. And generally speaking, every colony either ended in emancipation and striking out on their own, or to this day there are some interesting collection with their host nation, sort of like Canada. Canada is essentially their own country, but they're still under British rule. Same thing with Australia and other little places like this. But that's not what Puerto Rico is. That's not what we got going on in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, they still living like we used to live back in the 1800s. Like Puerto Ricans, y'all don't pay taxes. Y'all don't y'all have a seat in the House of Representatives, but you guys don't really participate in the government, and you get all the protection. Generally speaking, I still don't know what's going on after that storm, and very confused by that whole idea too. Why did y'all need aid at all? I remember growing up, we were all thinking Puerto Rico gonna be the 51st state. That's gonna be the 51st state. What happened? I mean, I've talked to a number of people, and there's a number of people that say a number of different things. But at the end of the day, eh, there's enough Puerto Ricans here. I think y'all like it being a part of America. Just come on in, or go on your own, which is actually, I think that's what y'all should do. I think that's what y'all should do. It's been long enough. It's been long enough. If you wanted to be a part of America, y'all would have got y'all would have been a part of it a long time ago. Y'all should have been the 51st state a long time ago. Strike out on your own. Your island is bigger than most of the Caribbean islands. You got more people than most of the Caribbean islands. If you're worried about storm aid, I mean, Galveston in 1900 built a seawall. I don't understand why y'all ain't built a seawall yet. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Y'all should be like Taiwan. I like me some Taiwan. Everybody should like some Taiwan. And the reason why I say y'all should be like Taiwan, because I don't care what part of the world you're from. I don't care what you got going on. If you say that Taiwan isn't a part of China, China show up and spank your little butt and make you apologize to the entire world. Now, do they actually do any spanking? No, because China ain't as bad as they think they are. But Chinese economy makes a lot of money. You got a lot of people over there that buy a lot of stuff. So when people want them Chinese bucks, they're going to do is say whatever China says so they can keep them Chinese bucks flowing. All except for Taiwan. Taiwan shout to the heavens that they're not a part of China because they don't want to be a part of China. In fact, they split away from China around the same time that Puerto Rico was supposed to be becoming a part of America. I want to say 70 something. It was like 71, 72, something like that. And in that time, Taiwan has built themselves up. They don't need China, nor do they need all these other countries that are all scared to show any sort of support to Taiwan. Even America doesn't even really show support to Taiwan. They give aid, they do business with Taiwan, but publicly, they have been on many different occasions. Taiwan is a part of China. It's still a Chinese island. No, it's not. It's an independent nation. It's been in existence for long enough, regardless of whether you want to accept it or not, regardless of whether you work with China or not. They are their own nation. And the fact that you're so scared of somebody just because of money is sad. It's the power that money can have on people, but it's sad. Puerto Rico, you should be like Taiwan. And I'm not even saying that we're like China in this scenario, because I don't think we've been the big bad um, um, overarching villain that's just been using you guys. And if you have, y'all grown-ups. This ain't Lord of the Flies. Y'all not a bunch of children running around that island pretending to be adults. No, you guys are actual adults. That's another reason why I want this to be a whole thing, because I feel the same way about Guam, and about the Virgin Islands, and Palau, and Midway, all these little protectorates, American Samoa, they they either should be a viable part of this country and treated like human beings, or allowed to go strike out on their own. But in 2022, we shouldn't be hanging on to people like the British Crown used to back in the day. The sun never sets on the British Empire because they was controlling everybody. And slowly everybody done either giving their stuff back or they done struck out on their own. Puerto Rico, get in the 21st century. Either become your own island nation, be like Cuba or Haiti. Like I said, there's smaller islands with less people that are perfectly fine without Big Brother America. What's your excuse? No, I'm gonna leave it right there. Probably the next one, I'm gonna jump right on into that topic right where I left it off right here, talking about these island nations, these colonies that we essentially still got running around here. We don't need that. I don't want to be the old heads that we just sitting over here like kings and queens, and people just no. These people are not. These people don't need our oversight. They are perfect. That is old, horrible, flawed thinking. They are perfectly and well able to be in this 21st century world by themselves. Now, if they want to be a part of America, like, Guam should be another state. I don't know how you get that going, but why not? Why not America Samoa be another state? Why not? Because it takes too long to fly? Come on, guys. We can do better than that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please give a thumbs up. But even if you don't, the algorithm likes it either way. I just hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.